Welcome to the official YouTube channel for me, the Colin Cowherd Podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of our football content this postseason. Going to have instant reactions after every big game. Thanks. College football reactions presented by JLab. JLab has the best audio products in the game. They're ready to take care of you this football season. Traveling to watch your favorite team or just streaming the game at home, find the Blue Box at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, or go to jlab.com. Love their stuff. The Blue Box. All right, so we go into Ohio State and Notre Dame. I think we both probably like the Buckeyes. I'll throw this out to you. I said this last week on radio and TV. I don't think Marcus Freeman has the horses to win. But if he kept it close or by chance won, I wonder if he's not the second best candidate to Mike Vrabel. I mean, there's a Sean McVay quality to this guy that people that have met him are just kind of blown away by him.
Yeah.
And first, do you think Notre Dame has a chance? And do you think if he put on a McVay-like classic where, I mean, the fact that the Rams had the ball late with a chance to win made no sense.
Crazy.
Right? Like, it just made no sense at all.
Did you fall out of your chair when he hit Puka down the sideline?
I could not believe it. I went, you have got to be kidding me. I literally sat there and thought, this is going to be the ultimate theft. They have no business being in this game. And I don't think Notre Dame has any business being in that game. If it was 30-10, I wouldn't be shocked. If you were Marcus Freeman, knowing that Notre Dame, the academic umbrella, the religious realities, the campus isn't a cold weather campus, not in the Big Ten. If you're Marcus Freeman and won, would you go to the NFL?
No, because these jobs are terrible. I think we just saw Sark re-up with Texas.
Yeah.
Being a head coach in college now pays $10 to $12 million. You're the coach GM and your owner does not exist. Now with the NIL situation, that's why Belichick was kind of intrigued. It's actually much more like the NFL, and you don't have an owner breathing down your neck
come to
Monday
you
morning. Yeah, with his 3 kids telling you 7 different ideas of what plays to call. I actually think college has kind of changed in the sense that the money's huge. And a place like Notre Dame, you can pay your coordinators. Just no different than the NFL.
Yeah.
Where's he going to go? Like, I guess you go the Bears right down the street, but I just don't think the Bears a good job. He then has to answer to Kevin Warren and deal with Ryan Poles, where he's the Ryan Poles. And his Kevin Warren is who? The father?
You know,
I mean, it's like, as long as he's winning, they leave him alone.
I was thinking about this. Ryan Day was going to get run out of town without the playoff, right? Because he wouldn't have got into the Final Four because of that home loss to Michigan.
Yeah.
And that in a weird way, the 12-team playoff is a little like March Madness. March Madness, because it's so vast with 68 teams, guys like Jim Boeheim, he could always say, well, I made the tournament. I've made the tournament 14 straight years. I think
that's Calipari's thing for a decade. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah, I mean, he was losing to like Oakland at school in Michigan. He was losing. But in the end, you could always say, well, I made the tournament. I made the tournament 22 years, and I won a couple games in the tournament. I made the Sweet 16, which really isn't that hard if you're like a UConn and who you face in the first 2 games. But I think if you get to the 12-team playoff every year and you win your opening game, it's hard to fire a guy because the reality is, Chad Millman and I talked about this, Northern schools in the NIL, most of them have more money. I think it's 12 of the top 23 schools in terms of enrollment size are Big Ten schools. They have a lot of graduates. A lot of those kids make a lot of money. They give money back to the university. And that I think the money between Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, God, USC's up in the 20 million now. They may not spend it wisely, but they have a lot of money in their collective. And my take is nobody's going undefeated in college football. You will be able to eventually get in with 3 losses, but certainly 2. You can lose to your rival at home as a 21-point favorite, Ohio State. And then I think guys like, if Ryan Day wins a natty, he's set for the next 4 years. I think this playoff was great for college coaches.
Well, think about this. If, Remember when baseball, if there were no wild cards, you had to win your division to get into the playoffs? If that
Yeah.
would have been in the NFL, Tom Coughlin wouldn't have made it past like 2008. I mean, he won both his Super Bowls as a wild card. So forever, like you said, neither one of these teams would have been in the Final Four. So I do give them a fighting chance, Notre Dame, because I think you saw with Texas, if you have a really good defense, ugly the thing up, just stay in the game, and then your quarterback needs to make some plays. Your guy, Riley Leonard's coming around on me. He made some big throws in that game against Penn State, two
He
huge
did.
throws. If he can be Superman, control the clock, run the ball. I heard people saying they run a lot of man-to-man defense where Texas played a lot of zone against them, and it slowed down Jeremiah Smith. So can they change their defensive game plan? Al Golden's a really good defense. Like the coaching in this game and
Is
really in the Final
sensational.
Four. I mean, all these coordinators are seven-figure guys. I thought the Final Four in college football felt like today in the NFL. It was a
Yeah.
really high level 2 nights, and I do think coaching belief. Like if you're Notre Dame right now, you've just beat Georgia and Penn State. You just talked about the talent. Both those rosters, if you polled the top 30 college coaches, they would take Georgia and Penn State's roster over Notre Dame, right? Over Marcus Freeman. So they have to be believing that they can win. Now, this is going to be the toughest test. But what if Will Howard, who had a little stretch where he looked like Peyton Manning in his prime, just has an off half? A turnover? Sometimes you just get a freaky fumble. For a split second, I thought the Ravens were going to win, and then Mark Andrews fumbles the ball,
Right.
right? I thought the Rams were going to win, and then all of a sudden Jalen Carter sacks. A big play in a key moment. These are 19-year-old guys, not 32-year-old four-time Pro Bowler guy worth $100 million who's seen, who's already been divorced, seen a lot in his life. Things can change fast. We saw Ohio State. They got in that weird game with Michigan and kind of crumbled. The only thing is, I do think from that moment on, it's been like an enlightening moment for the team. But I think you could say the same thing about Notre Dame, that NIU loss, right? Kind of was an enlightening moment for them. They have not looked
Yeah.
back since. So I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I'm an Ohio State hater, but I just think it'd be a pretty cool story if Notre Dame, it'd be one of the bigger upsets. I mean, what are they? 8.5 point underdog?
Well, if Marcus Freeman with his energy, and I think you see this now in college football, um, a lot of these older coaches like Brian Kelly, I'm not sure. I don't think he wants to. I mean, Chip Kelly wouldn't recruit at the end. I don't think Brian Kelly's. He's not
Well, look at the
Dabo.
best recruiters. It's Kirby, Dabo for a long time, who's kind of viewed a little older now, but Ryan Day, Steve Sarkisian. I mean, that's the thing with Lincoln. It's like, Lincoln, you're young. Where's your energy with this? Dan Lanning. It's like these
Yeah,
guys, Kenny Dillingham. I mean, you need some, it's a lot.
it is. All right, John Middlekauff. Love chopping it up for about an hour and 10, 15 minutes. Loved it. He has a podcast, Three and Out, former NFL scout, and Ohio State, Notre Dame. We're doing this Sunday night on the docket for tomorrow. Thanks, buddy.
See you tomorrow.